Hello everyone, welcome back to the second lectures of this unit.
Hi.
So in this unit, we're going to talk about, in the last unit we said that there are a lot of things in Wufeng that you can discover. And there is actually one important site here that help people to commemorate the 921 earthquake. And the place is called 921 Earthquake Museum. Have you ever been there before, Daniel?
Yeah, I've been there quite a few times. I've taken classes there for class visits, and it's a really interesting place to go to because you can actually see a lot of the effects of the earthquake that happened in the 921 earthquake.
Yeah.
So it's on the site of the old Guangfu Elementary School, and they've actually kept a lot of the damaged buildings there. So, of course, you can read about the earthquakes, the effects, and the disaster, and you think this is terrible. But I found it really moving because when you go there, you can actually see the old buildings all damaged, and you can see how the school just collapsed. So they've got all the classrooms, and most of them have got the roofs caved in, and there's piles of concrete and rubble, and the whole site's been preserved.
They actually have an experience theaters where you can go stay inside the theater and get to experience the power of nature.
Oh yeah, with the 3D glasses, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. Last time I went there, the 3D theater was showing a movie about Hawaii and the volcanoes in Hawaii. So even though the Earthquake Museum is commemorating the disaster from 921, they're actually trying to teach people about disaster management and other earthquakes that happen around the world, and also volcanic activity. So I guess it's a big problem in Taiwan because there's a Pacific Ring of Fire, and where the two plate boundaries collide, there's apparently a lot of earthquakes will happen in that zone. Like I know in New Zealand as well, we're on the Ring of Fire and we're in between two big tectonic plates. And because of that, there's going to be a lot of earthquakes. So I think Japan's got the same problem, is that right? Japan has a lot of earthquakes as well. So yeah, what else can you see at the Earthquake Museum? Have you seen the running track there? There's an old school running track. Yeah.
Actually, the first time when I went past by the Earthquake Museum, I didn't realize that it was actually a museum. I was thinking, geez, those claps after the earthquake haven't been restored yet. And I was quite shocked when I see the running track. It becomes like a hill. It's
like different levels, right? Like it's here, and then it shoots up, and it's about 1 meter higher. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. It's actually free to go to the Earthquake Museum if you go there on Wednesday morning as well. So last time I took my students there, we did it on Wednesday. And that way, you don't need to pay for a ticket.
It's a nice place to remind people to respect the Mother Nature, and especially for a lot of young generations, this 921 earthquake might have been forgotten. For students like in elementary schools, they didn't get to experience the earthquake, so it's the museum is a nice place for us to all remember.
Sure, yeah. I guess the other thing is I hope that they're taking into account the better building design now as well. So there's one section of the Earthquake Museum they were saying, well, we need to learn from the disaster before to try to design the buildings in a safer and more stable way. So have you ever been to Guangfu Shinchun before? Guangfu New Village?
It's very close to the Earthquake Museum, and it's quite an interesting place to visit too, because they remain a lot of old buildings, but they have a lot of cultural and creative industries inside the village.
Yeah, because that area is quite special because again a lot of the buildings were uninhabited after the earthquake. A lot of them were sort of destroyed or unsafe. And I heard it was supported by the Taichung City Council. They actually invested in all the local buildings to try to create a more of an arts and crafts area.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of cafes, and I don't know if you ever been to have a coffee there before?
Not coffee, but I took a walk over there. It's nice. You can feel the breeze, and they instill a lot of young vibe there, even though within an old village town. So
Yeah,
it's a nice idea to not to destroy the old things, to keep the old things, but at the same time they add a lot of young stuff, young elements.
and if you want to take some really good selfie photos for your Instagram as well, I've always seen lots of students there just like taking photos around all the old buildings, because it's all made of bricks, you know, like red bricks. And it's even popular photo place for wedding photographers too. So I've seen a lot of people there in their wedding dresses and the grooms and all the wedding clothes, or wedding suit. Just taking photos around that area.
Yeah, it's a good idea. You can see a nice contrast between the past and the modern, traditional and modern. Yes, it's a nice contrast.
Of course, Asia University is also a really good place for wedding photos too. I've seen a lot of people taking wedding photos here, like at our, of course, we have our new museum here, the Tadao Ando.
Yes.
Designed the Asia Museum of Modern Art. And of course it's popular for people to come here and take wedding photos, but a lot of people like to come here to go to the art museum too, right?
It's a very nice place to go, and it's fairly new landmark for central Taiwan. And it was opened in 2013, so it's still very young. But because of the architecture itself, the museum has already attracted lots of visitors. It was, as you mentioned, it was designed by Tada Andong. He's quite a famous architect in the world. He once wins the Pritzker Award, which is known as the Oscar or the Nobel Prize, you know, in architect industry.
And there's been a lot of really good exhibitions, right? They change the exhibition every few months or every semester. So there was a big abstract painting exhibition there recently.
Right.
Right? What was the name of that artist? Zhao Wuqi?
Yes. There was a huge event, yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of abstract paintings, which are very open to interpretation and kind of really can really drag you in, and really need to use your imagination to appreciate those abstract paintings. But I thought they were great.
Yeah, it's a nice venue for the school to exhibit world-class artists, and also it's a nice venue for local artists to exhibit their artworks at the same time. So, but don't forget that the architect itself is the best artworks that we have.
Oh yeah, the art museum is itself a work of art. You know, it's got all the triangles and the concrete. You know, I remember someone told me beauty without makeup, right?
Beauty
on
without
the
makeup,
concrete.
Yeah. It's very low profile. It's a great architect that shows the beauty of simplicity, minimalism, less is more.
Oh, less is more.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's ask our two questions now. So maybe the first question, I'll just ask, what were the two museums that we just talked about? Two museums. And one more question?
The other questions, so...
We said about Guangfu Shenchun, right?
Yes.
What do we say you could find at Guangfu Shenchun?
What kind of industry? What kind of industry that the city government, Taichung city government, later promote in the Guangfu village?
Okay. Thanks everyone for listening to this video, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.